welcome to another Brush with Art. I've got so many new things to share with you today. We're just going to get started and jump right in. I'm so excited because my daughter-in-law, Jenny Shenander, dropped in while we were getting ready to tape the show. And can you believe it? She wanted me to show her how to paint a plate. Well, I just happen to have a stack of plates, and we're going to try something different. We're just going to do it and share it with you and see if this works or not. First of all, I buy very inexpensive plates and clean them with either alcohol or Windex. You want to clean yours, Jenny? And the last plates I found, I've been having trouble finding them lately, have some flaws in them. It's not going to bother me. We're going to paint around it, over it, cover it up. It doesn't matter. We want to get our plate nice and dry. Be sure it's got any kind of residue off of it. And Jenny and I are going to try to use some stamps with this paint. And again, I don't know how well it's going to work, but we're going to make it work somehow. Jenny, what are you going to put on your plate?
I'm going to do these sports balls.
Okay.
And put UT around the edges.
In what colors?
In black.
Oh, that's going to be pretty. And what is this pattern? What's on there?
The football, soccer ball, baseball, and basketball.
Oh, that's going to be great. And are you going to put a name on it? Somebody's name?
No name,
okay.
just UT.
Okay. Well, let's get started. We're going to leave them dry. Now remember, these are not going to stamp like they would if we were using stamping ink. We're going to use the porcelain, and we're going to put the impression on here and then decide how to make it work after that. Okay, Jenny, go ahead and paint all your balls and with the black, and I'm going to get some color on this one. And if this doesn't work, if it doesn't imprint really good and dark, what we'll do is let it dry and come back and just paint over it. Remember, when you're painting on china, you don't want to get too thick a coat on the china because then it peels off and scrapes off. So you want a good coat, but you don't want it too dark. And so we're going to go ahead and put our colors on here, and then when we come back, we'll put it on the plate, and we'll be right back. Okay, I think I've just about got that. And I've just put some paint on it, didn't wet it first. I do want to tell you, always be sure and shake your paint up before you start painting with it. Shake it up real good. A lot of times you can paint right out of the lid because it'll be nice and thick. Now, let me put this right in the middle of my plate. Be sure it's dry. How's yours coming, Jenny? Oh, that looks great. Okay, let's just press that down real good. Oh, it's going to slide easy, isn't it? Let's press it down like that. And lift it straight up. Oh, how cute. Look at that. Let me see. Oh, Jenny, I love it. That looks good. It didn't get in the little crevices there, but I would just leave that for now. We can work on that later. Jenny had asked me a long time ago to paint her a birthday plate. I painted her one, and I did not like it, so I wiped it off, and I've been looking and looking for a new idea for a birthday plate when I found this stamp, and I thought I would try it, and I love that. That doesn't even need any more work on it. I'm just going to leave it like it is, and I like all the texture in it. Jenny, you can touch yours up a little if you want to in some places. I'm just going to spread that out because it got too thick. Now, what we want to do is decorate on along the edge. And what did you say, Jenny, you're going to put on the edge?
I'm going to put UT around the edges.
Okay. Go ahead and finish painting that and then put UT. And what I'm going to do is take these 4 colors, and I'm going to make like confetti and little streamers all the way around it. And I'll just take a little red and I'll come around like that. And oh, I do want to remind Jenny, when you do your UT, if you'll go put one here, another one directly across, and then one here and one directly across, then you'll know how many to put in the middle and keep it even. And I'll do that with the confetti too. Make a red one there. I'm using a round brush to do this because, okay, we're going to come over here because I want to start thin, press down, lift up for the confetti. And we'll come right over here and we'll go like that. And then I'll want to get the brown and, the blue. Go ahead and use that from the bottle. And then I'll have green. So knowing I've got 2 more colors, I'll fit 2 more in here, and 2 in here, 2 in here, and 2 in here. Even though that got off a little bit, I can work with that. There's the blue. And to get the confetti look, I am pressing down, twisting my wrist, and lifting up. And pressing down, twisting my wrist, and lifting up. And then I'll put some green. And Jenny, I'm going to love this birthday plate. This one I'll let you have. Okay, let's just come right over here and make another one. Here and make another one. Here. This is very festive looking. And okay, and I think I'm going to put a blue one here and a blue one here. And then I will. How sure you? Oh, that's great. That's great. Just hold that up. Let me see it. Yes, that's going to be beautiful. We might have to buy some more and do some more of those. Okay, I'm going to, not going to cover that up yet because I have another idea for that little flaw. We'll do something else. Down. Whoop. Got me a water drip here. Don't want to do that. Just blot that up. Okay, we got one more. We're almost done. Now, I'm going to put some confetti here and there. I'm also later going to write happy birthday on it, but right now, just put some blue confetti and a little red here and there. Now, right in here, I'm getting my brush too wet, so I know that's going to run, and I'll probably end up washing that off and doing it over. Also, this is too thick, and that's just going to chip off if I don't go ahead and do that one over. So we'll do that one over, and okay, and then we'll put a little bit of green on it, and I'll be done, all except the writing. Oh, that's great. That is great. Now, a little bit purple. Okay. How's it coming, Jenny?
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's it. That didn't take long, did it? As long as you're not afraid to make a mistake, as long as you just want to have fun with it. Hold it up, Jenny. Let me see. That's beautiful. Okay, when this dries, I'll come back and put happy birthday. And I'm so glad you were here, and I'm so glad Jenny was here while we were doing this. And we're going to come back in just a few minutes. I got something else I want to share with you. That's going to be great. Well, wasn't that fun? I was so glad Jenny stopped in. Jenny teaches first grade art, and she's going to let her kids each paint a plate. They have a manners class, and they're going to paint their plates and then bring them when they have their manners class and eat out of them. I was doing some repair work on mine. I took all of that confetti off because it got a little bit too messy, and I like this much better. Got a little more repair work here because I'm always in such a hurry when I do this for the taping. But anyway, that's the finished one. Sure didn't take long, did it? And Jenny's just turned out beautiful. I think her son is going to love that. Just wanted you to see it, the finished results. Okay, with the few minutes that we've got left, we're going to do some watercolor, which is my real love anyway. And I had a request to do a hummingbird from a very good friend, Janet. And Janet, I'm finally getting around to this. This is just a simple little hummingbird with a blossom in it. It's done on student paper, just a student tablet. And I'm going to show you the steps that I went through to do it. Got on the internet and got some reference pictures just to kind of get an idea. And I decided on this bird and this flower. So I made a pattern out of it. And let's see if I can sit this up here where you can see it. Okay. because I will want to refer to that a little bit. Okay, so I made my pattern here, and I've already got my pattern on another piece of student type paper, and I'm going to show you how I started. First of all, I want to wet it good. I'm going to start with wet on wet, and for once I'm not using yellow ochre to start my picture. Kind of wanted all of this open in pure white, the white of the water paper color. So I'm just going to put a quick wash on it, and I'm going to be sure that my colors are nice and wet, so I'm going to give them one more spray. Kind of loosen up that paint. Some of them are harder than others, but that'll work. Now I'm going to use ultramarine blue to get the pure bright blue of the sky, rather than phthalo, which I almost always use the phthalo, but this is going to be different. This is going to be straight ultramarine, and I'm just going to dab it on here, and as I said, leave a halo all around it. I'm not going to get it on the flowers or the leaves, just right around the edge of it. And right here, I'm not going to put any blue because I want all of that to go off the paper. But right here, I'm going to just do this and then pick it up and see where it wants to go. See what this one wants to do. See, I think I'll encourage it a little bit to come on down in there. Okay, and that's pretty dark. So once I get it all on the area that I want it, I'm going to coax it a little bit real quick here. Then I'm going to blot it with a paper towel and get a lot of the color out. But I just want that little bird framed in there. Now I'm going to, as you notice, the paper towel leaves a texture, and that's okay. You can make that work for you. I really kind of like the texture. Okay, and just smooth it out a little bit. There we go. Okay, got that much done. Remember, it's going to dry a little different than how it looks wet. That's always a surprise when it finally dries and see what it is. Let me see. Okay, now for the hummingbird, I'm going to use, better get that brush out of there, hadn't I? Now that it's soaked good. Okay, I'm going to use ultramarine blue and a little bit of alizarin crimson. Here's my blue, here's my crimson right here, and a little bit of burnt umber. Here's my three colors. I'm going to work it into a gray, and I will want that gray to be more, you see the little pink color in here, I want it to be more on the pink side than the blue. So I will stay in this color right here, just keep adding the blue to it till I get a color that I want. Also notice I have a little green in there, so I'm going to add some green, and I think I'll try that green right there. Right now it's brown, but I'll get a little green look. Okay, I have there we go. That's a good gray color, and I can even add a little bit more blue. Now I'm going to wet the bird with water. Just the bird, because I don't want the paint to bleed outside. And I really need to let this dry a little bit because we did a wet on wet, and this is still damp, and if I try now to do the bird, it'll just bleed out into the rest of it. So we're going to let this dry. I'm going to put a hairdryer on it, dry it real good all around the bird, and then we'll come back and get busy on the bird. Okay, now I'm starting to get a little bit of gray in here, and I've got what's under the green here right now. Now I'm going to add some pink to my gray, and I'm not going to worry about these highlights here. I can come back and wipe those out. So first of all, I want to get the little wing to look sort of a pink gray. I can see I need to add water to keep it real light because I'm going to add my darks later. And I'm going to go ahead and do that other wing in just a little darker and make that more of a blue-gray. Okay, got that in there. And let's see, we want to come on out and get the little beak done. I'll just use the very tip of my brush to get that. Okay. Now, I'm going to come back and get this darker edge in here. And to do that, I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to let this dry a little bit. I'm going to come back and do that in a minute. Now, let's try our flower. Let's get some color in that flower. I'm going to use a medium-sized flat brush. I'm going to use alizarin crimson. And I'm going to add a little bit of another red, and I don't remember what color that is. And if I think of it, I'll tell you. I want to keep it nice and watery. And I think I'm going to take a round brush and do that. Okay, because I can get into those tips better. Okay, we're just going to get some color in. We're not going to try to make it all the same depth of color. We want to move that water around and have it lighter in some areas and darker in some areas. Let the water pull up in some areas will be fine. Just go right into the blue and get some color on the rest of these. Come all the way around the edge here. Okay. Now, I don't want to get the center any red in it, so I'm going to get some yellow in that real quick so I don't forget and bring the red down, and just leave that there. We can do more with that later. Let's just come on out a little bit. Okay, now there's quite a bit of water in that, so I'm just going to pick some of that water up with this, and it won't disturb the color at all. And I'm going to bring that out just a little bit, like that. Okay, now I've got to get more color on this flower, and I've got to get it on there as quick as I can so I can show you the other steps. Okay, oops. Now to go ahead and do this right here. Now while it's wet, I'm going to come back. First I'm going to pick up that little drop there. Okay, I'm going to come back and I'm going to put these darker reds in here, right there, using alizarin crimson. Almost all alizarin crimson. I might put a little blue in there. Yes, I like that. Okay, now I'm just going to touch the edge like this and let that bleed out into the paint. And keep in mind it's a petal, and it's going to have its pretty little folds and wrinkles in it. And so I'm even going to come out like this, put it in like that, and then when that dries it will be quite a bit lighter. That's going to be the beginning of that petal. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with this one. Make that even more purple. I mean, put more blue in it and make it more purple. And we'll come around and just touch the edges. And every place there's a little crinkle, we'll come in a little bit. And then when we come back and detail it, we'll have part of our detailing already done. Okay, a little bit more here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and finish this flower, and we'll be right back. Okay, I went on and finished the flower, the first stage of the flower, and I'm getting some green on the leaves. And what I'm going to do is a real wet on wet, just brush it in real loose. I want it to be quite light because I'm going to come back and detail it. And up here I've got green. I'll show you on this one. I have green. I'm going to put some yellow ochre in here and come back down to green here. So I have my green up there, and I'm going to get some yellow ochre and put that in here. And we're not going to leave the leaves yellow, but we're going to get that on the bottom. Then come back the same way we did this with darker colors, with some greens and some burnt sienna. And just touch the tips like this. Let me get some more brown on there, some sienna. Just touch the tips and then let that thing just go where it wants to. Just like that one. Okay, and I'm going to come on down and do that to all the leaves, adding green and then going back to more brown and then a little more green. Just let all that mix in there. I also want on this yellow ochre to come back and tip the edges with green. And then for the stalk was green, so I'm going to keep that green. I'm going to go ahead and paint it like this and get color on it. And then while it's still wet, get me sort of a dark gray, and let me get it mixed up here, and come back and touch the edge like I did on here. For the gray, I'm using red and burnt sienna and ultramarine blue until I get a bark looking color, a little bit more blue here. Okay, perfect. Now I'm just going to touch it right here, and this needs to be a little bit heavier paint because this is so wet. And now if you can see what that's doing right there, that is just making a beautiful bark right there, just all the way down. And of course you can always tilt it, let it run into it, and then touch your leaf up and just get the green out right there. Okay, one more little part on the bark, and then I'm going to go back to the bird real quick. And you can pull some paint across like that too. I really want to add some blue to that brown. Now that's what I want, just about like that. Okay, we're going to let that dry. We're going to work on the bird for a minute. When you get too much water, you can just gently blot it up. Now on the bird, I want to get this dark wing in here, and I want to get the dark tail. So I will use some blues and just make a real pretty shade of gray, but using all the colors, blues and reds and browns to get it. A little bit more blue. Okay. Okay, let's get this in the dark here. Let's come on across and a little more blue. Oops. Okay. Come on here. And then we're going to want some blue down here. And for the green, I'm going to just stipple it in like this for the breast and on up the neck. And then I'm going to wet this wing right here and take some red. It's going to be a little bit too wet here. Okay. And start making some little wing strokes here. Okay. And then when that dries, then I'll come back and do some detailing. And we're going to let this dry, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to detail this one out. Even though this looks like it's finished, there's still some things that I can do to enhance it, and I want to show you. I'm going to wet a dry brush, get most of the wet out, and make some more depth in here, some dimension, by just rubbing on the lighter areas or where I want it light, and then blot it and rub a little more, get some more definition between the different shades of red. And on the flowers, I'm going to make a deep vertigo green, add some blue, and we're going to make even more dimension. We're going to come back and we're going to paint these flowers in loose brush strokes and see how that enhances it. It'll really surprise you what a difference that's going to make. We have just a few minutes left, maybe about a minute, so I want to go ahead and finish this one leaf and let you see how that's going to really enhance it. And I'll do the same thing on the rest of them. And I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration. I do have the pattern if you'd like it. Thanks for joining me today. And let me see if I have time. I want to get one more stroke in here, which is some blue, really wet, and let you see how pretty that does. Okay, about like that. And I'll go ahead and finish it. And thanks again for joining me. If you have any questions, email me. Join me again. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
What color are you painting your tree house?
Purple, red,
Red, yeah.
and orange and pink.
That's real neat. Now, Dylan, which color are you painting yours?
Red, purple, yellow.
Oh, that's nice. What are you going to do with your birdhouse?
I'm going to give it to my mom and let her put it anywhere she wants.
Catherine, what are you going to do with your birdhouse?
Paint it?
And then what are you going to do? You going to take it home?
Yeah.
And do what? Are you going to put it in a tree? Or
Put on the mud.
put it where?
Put on
Okay.
mud.
Has your grandmother helped you learn how to do a birdhouse? Well, good. She give you the paint to do it with?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.